True Plays.
Hello everybody, my name is Drew Marvelous, your Million G Gamer. Welcome to a play of The Forbidden Arts. This is just really to show you what the game's like. It is out on Xbox One, which this is the version of, and it is also on Switch and Steam PC. It's not quite on PlayStation 4 as of yet, but I'm reliably informed it is coming Q4, so definitely watch out for it because this game's pretty good. So we're just going to start a new game off just so I can show you what it's like. So let's get into things, and later on in the video I will switch to my save file, which is a complete game on it, and that will show you, a few of the other levels. But this is when we start off. You play as Phoenix, who is getting these weird visions, and he seeks out the Enchantress to make sense of the visions, and he gets told that he is one of the few people who can channel the element of fire. And he's the one to set out on the adventure to rid the land of the evil necromancer. It was called Voltaire, I believe. So here we go, we're in the village. So he says good afternoon, basically. He's feeling, it's just general banter this. It's well written for the most part. The shop's closed, Elia's in the forest and in her garden, so we've got to go there. So we control ourselves pretty easily. You've got left and right, obviously, with the stick there. Right stick gives you a little bit of camera control, but up and down, nothing to the left and right, just up and down, which just help you spot collectibles. You can jump with the A button, you can also double jump. You can also press the left trigger to crouch down and attack, which I never used. I found the crouch down to be completely pointless, as I did the dodge move, which is just basically LT when you're moving. I found this to be very problematic in terms of a dodging move, and most of the time ended up me rolling off a cliff to instant death, so I never used it. I just jumped out the enemy's way. I thought that was much more effective, and you had much more control over what you was doing. So the game's split into two parts. This is the overworld sections. These are mostly nice, especially this first one. This first one's pretty beautiful. I like the grass effects. These grass effects cause me a world of hurt because I've been experiencing a few technical problems streaming, and on stream whenever I move the camera on these, it basically pixelated hell. But on a video when you can record at higher bitrate, it's miles better. So what do you do in these overworld sections? Well, you just really go from A to B, really. You just really go to the side-scrolling levels, which are the meat and potatoes of the actual game. But there is a few things you can do there. Each of the level has at least one of these guys. These are chiromancers. They are guardians of the spirit towers, which are in disrepair. You need gold coins, chunks, or knobs of butter, I call them, because the gold, as I will show you in a minute, looks like the when you're in a restaurant and you get those, or a cafe or something, and you get those pre-packed packets of butter in there. They look like knobs of butter, basically. So this guy needs 10. The increments of 10, basically 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on and so forth. And completion of the spirit towers awards you more health or more magic power. These are them here. There's always 4 in the overworld sections. I'll just briefly show you where each of the 4 are in this first overworld area. There is a little bit of popping, which is annoying and unfortunate, but it's not too bad, and it's not really relevant in the side-scrolling sections, which are the main part of the game anyway. Bizarrely, in these overworld sections, you lose the ability to double jump and roll for reasons, and you can't even attack. There's no enemies in this overworld section at all. The final one of these is over here. So there's always 4 of these gold in the overworld sections, and in the side-scrolling sections there's 10. So we're going to go into the main level now, which is highlighted by the light beam, as you can see there. We're going to go in there, and we're going to kind of skip the dialogue just so I can show you as much gameplay as possible, and I'll give you a brief overview of what it's telling us to do. So as I say, these side-scrolling sections are the main body of the game there. We're going to get his first enemy here, which is a wolf. Very easy, doesn't really do much there. You can wall slide like that, and if there's 2 walls next to one another, you can jump off them and wall jump up as well. So we'll go up there. Now, as I said before, there's 10 gold coins or chunks in each level. Now, this first one here is up on this wooden platform there, and you can't actually get it yet. You need an ability later in the game. and I don't know if it was just the order I did things in, but that was the only one I couldn't get on the first visit to the area, which was a bit unusual. All the others you can get all 10 in one go, in one visit if you know where they are, but that one you have to come back because you get an ability that makes you jump further. So this is the first one we actually pick up, killing a wolf. Very basic enemy there. There's a knob of butter, as I call them. That beautiful, perfect on a bit of toast. And here's the enchantress. She's basically going to tell us that we have to she sees the look in our eyes that we have inherited the power of the phoenix, and we can power flame. And to unlock the powers we need a feather of a griffin, which conveniently is just over here. So we kill the wolf. We speak to the guards who tell us that a direct attack on the griffin is futile and we need to sneak behind it. This is the only time you actually have to hit something from behind the rest of the game. I mean, it doesn't do any extra damage, to be honest with you, but for some reason we have to do this. So we wait till it goes and turns around, and we give it a stabby in the back. Automatically get defeated because we've no way of defeating this, and we get a cutscene.
Greetings.
We unlock our powers. I'm going to skip the story cutscenes. This basically introduces us to all the mancers. There's Geomancer, Necromancer, Aeromancer, Pyromancer, Chiromancer. It's the Mancy brothers. Each one's basically the guardian of a certain power. So once after we've seen that cutscene, she introduces us to our flame abilities. Where we get a yellow bar there at the top, underneath our red bar, which is health. So we can press the Y button to fire a fireball, and we can siphon fire from any fire source as long as it's close enough. There is a few issues with that because there's some torches that look like they're close enough, but you just can't get for some reason. So we're in the game proper now, and we've just got to basically get to the end of the level to progress to the next area and or boss if there's one in the area. As you can see, it's nicely done. The main problem with this section is the map. If you have a look at the map at the top right hand corner of the screen there, it's so shoddily done. I mean, look at it. It's just like they've slapped it on, like it's just a layer on top of the game. There should have been really more effort put into the map itself. I mean, the black just looks hideous. The walls look hideous. The orange walls, the green dot, and it just looks very, very strange, and no border around the map as well just gives it a very, very unprofessional and unfinished look to it. But that's just my opinion. It's a perfectly functional map though. It does its job perfectly well. The other issue with these, I'm just dwelling on this first enemy here. You see the bear here? Enemies kind of fall into a few categories. This is the main category that we have here. An enemy where you will attack him a few times and then he will go blue, and that means he's invincible. So we'll do an attack, and then I think you're supposed to do this roll to get out of the way. But I just jump out of the way because it's much more, you need much more control over it. So you wait till they do a blue attack, and then you're just going for another attack cycle and kill them. And that's what you do for the majority of the enemies. Probably 75% of the enemies are defeated in that way. Attack them until they change colour, dodge out the way, then go in for a second wave of attack, and you'll beat them. The Griffin is here, so we'll jump. Well, we can't jump over him, so. Oh, he killed me. Say warts and all playthrough this. You know, I'm not going to edit anything out unless I tell you I'm editing it out. So we'll go there, we'll fireball him, we'll whack him with the fire. He's out for the count. Siphon some more fire off there. And we have to speak to this guy who informs us we can wall jump, and he gives us a feather, of which we need 6 to basically unlock the portal to the Necromancer. Right, so this is another thing that's odd about the game, right? You see the enemy that was on the screen there? Right, an enemy doesn't need to be on the screen for you to kill it. I can lob a fireball here, and that will hit that enemy and kill it. And this can happen with any enemy of any distance. It could be if the level was a straight line and with no obstacles in it, you could fire a fireball from the start to the finish of the level and it will probably kill the enemy. If we do that, you see, we can kind of clear the ground, ground in front of us, and it's a little bit odd that happens. Just very, very strange. And later on, when you get a lot of fireballs, I can do this, and it will hit them and kill them. There's the attack there. Look, I did enough damage. You turn colour. Should have dodged out of the way, and we would have then gone in for a second attack cycle to kill them. Nothing up there. Weird. But I mean, the enemies are varied in terms of what they actually graphically look like, and their attacks are varied as well. I mean, look, he does that again, dodge out the way, going for the second attack, he's deaded. Again, look, example here, look, love a fireball. And we've already killed them. It's just weird, but it is a very useful. If you're struggling with enemies and you know what plane they're on, what level of what height of the level that they're on, you can use that to your advantage an awful lot. So again, we do 2 attacks, or 3 attacks, he turns colour, going for a second lot of attacks, and we beat them. This enemy only takes 1 hit. This is one of the weakest enemies in the game, this. But it's just weird. It's just weird how you can do that. But anyway, you get the gist of this. There's a better game. Look, we do wait till it goes blue, jump out the way, or roll if you so wish, and then go for a second lot of attack cycles and kill it there. So I'm going to switch to my main game profile now, just so I can show you some of the other worlds and just show you a few of the different graphical features of the game. So we're back in a minute. Okay, welcome back guys. We're in one of the later levels of the game now. This is again the overworld section of the map. As I say, same kind of thing with the green area that we came across. There's 4 gold nuggets to find, which I've already got. And some of the levels do have these other NPCs which have kind of a mini quest. Like this guy, for example, wants some drink. You go get the drink from over here, literally over here on this box, for example. You get it, take it back to him, he gives you a key, tells you the key belongs to the Aeromancer. Guess where you take it? The Aeromancer, and you get something in return for it, and that's pretty much how it generally works. I'll show you an example of one of these spirit temples as well, but before that I'll just switch areas. We'll show you a swamp level. Oh, I've gone into the ice level. We'll show you this one. This is the ice level. You do slide around a bit, but it's totally pointless in the overworld because you can't jump off or hurt yourself in the overworld as it is, so a bit pointless. There's a goblin in this area which is a really funny song and dance, which is quite amusing the first time, and actually needed. This is actually a mini game where you have to remember the sequence of buttons. So we'll go into the mountains of Odin, I think it was, or Orin, and just show you this level. And I'll give you an example of the enemies being very similar to one another. If we encounter a Yeti enemy, there's these goblins. Now bear in mind I am powered up here, so I am going to kill things very, very quickly with these powered up swords. So they will be more difficult when you come here for the first time. In fact, actually what I'll do as well is I can show you all the other powers that you acquire during the game. You have a shield ability which blocks attacks, not very useful other than in boss fights. You got this, which is the high jump. You have heat vision, which is for dark areas. You just turn it on and you can see like infrared kind of thing. And then you have this ability which speeds up your running, which lets you do longer jumps basically over larger chasms. And that's basically your powers. So I think we get a goblin here. I'll show you again another example. We can just lob a few fireballs. We've killed him, even though he wasn't on screen. This level you can't wall jump because it's supposedly slippery, so this is where the large jump comes into play. There would have been a gold coin there. This does burn your mana, by the way, as well. So here's a Yeti, watch. 1, 2, 3, goes blue, like the bear did. Dodge him, and then finish him off with a second attack cycle. And that's the problem the game has. There's always enemies like that during the levels. Those guys would do it as well to an extent, but I'm too powerful now for those, and I pretty much wipe them out in a couple of hits, so they don't get a chance to do it. So yeah, we're just going to look here. The flame source here. Look, we can use that flame source to replenish our magic. And I think there's one of the torches I can use in it. Ooh, as an example here. This Yeti. Yeah, so you didn't get a chance to do it. There's a way to stop them going into their invulnerable attack. If their back's against the wall or a pit like that, you can literally just spam your attack and kill them. Now here we go. Let's just use a few fireballs. So this torch is fair game. We can replenish our fire from it. So we'll fire that off again. Probably kill an enemy by doing that. This torch, however, is out of range, even though it's literally like 3 meters away from us, but we can't access it, which is frustrating. So we'll switch to the flame attack. Oh, these are golems. These are pain in the bums. I just basically avoid them once you've got the achievement. But overall, this is a fun game. It's, you know, it's got a few issues. The levels do come a little bit repetitive towards the end because the enemies are all very similar to one another in terms of attack patterns. But you know, it does mix it up enough in terms of the environments, and the interest is kept by trying to find all the collectibles. I think there's just a bit of tightening up on the presentation that could have been done. I mean, like say the map especially. I mean, the map just looks so poorly done, like it's just slapped on there as an afterthought, really, which is a bit of a shame, really, because the presentation of the game everywhere else is fantastic. That would have been a collectible most likely in this area. I'll show you another area, so you can get a general gist. I mean, the levels kind of form the pattern of you get a new power off a boss, and then you use that power mostly or mainly in the next area for you to progress. We'll have a look at... We're going to the swamps. That's where originally was going to go in the first place. This lovely, lovely green area. Again, there'll be 4 collectibles in here. In terms of challenge rating, it's not that difficult. If you played these kind of games in the past, you'll breeze through it. The bosses take a little bit of figuring out their attack patterns and stuff, and the weaknesses, or actually how you do damage to them in the first place. That's the difficulty with the bosses, is just figuring out how you actually start doing damage to them, because sometimes you have to do things to make them vulnerable to your attacks, if you get what I mean. Once you've done that though, it's pretty easy to just follow the pattern and just wipe them out, but the figuring out of it is quite fun and frustrating at the same time. This one we've got mushroom enemies that fire things at you. We've got frogs, frog warriors, all pretty easy to dodge if you don't even want to fight them. You don't get anything for fighting them, no experience or anything like that. The only real benefit of killing them is if you're going for achievements. There's achievements for killing X amount of every single mob in the game, and they're all pretty easy to get. The only one I didn't get through natural play was spiders. For some reason I had to start up a second game after I completed it just to get the remaining spiders that I needed to get all the achievements. There is a few puzzles in the game as well. This would have been initially a puzzle area when I first went through it. They're all very simple, mainly just sticking rocks into holes or blocks into holes or manipulating levers or something. Not going to attack the game out of that much, it's all straightforward enough. And like I say, the achievements are all pretty much kill X amount of each of the enemy, get all the feathers, get all the power-ups, which you get for getting all the collectibles anyway, beating all the bosses, and pretty much that's it. It's pretty much just a straightforward enough list to actually to get, and it's a really enjoyable 1000 game score. So I can definitely recommend it. I mean, especially for the price as well. I mean, it's across all platforms. It will be anyway at the end of the year when it gets a PlayStation 4 version, and I think the £13 that they're asking for it is, you know, very, very reasonable. It is a fun game, and it is well produced, well presented. They just need to sort that map out. And also, they are a pretty good developer as well, because there were glitched achievements at the start when this came out, and they've already fixed it within a week of release. So thumbs up to them for doing that. But yeah, I can highly recommend the Forbidden Arts. It's a really, really fun game to play. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be more content to come. I am now hopefully back on YouTube, touch wood, barring any more technical issues, and I've hopefully killed the damn gremlin that's been affecting every single bit of tech in my house, and we can get back to making some quality content. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.